In 1969, you could buy this Corvette for under $8,000. Today, documented examples sell for over $3 million. That is more than 6 American homes. Chevrolet barely advertised it. The car in question is the 1969 Corvette L88, built by Chevrolet during the peak of the muscle era. On a dealership lot in 1969, it did not stand out with wild stripes or special badges. It looked like a regular C3 Corvette. Same long nose, same low roofline, same aggressive stance introduced in 1968. But hidden under the hood was something Chevrolet did not want casual buyers to order. Officially, the L88 engine was rated at 430 horsepower. That number appeared in brochures and order sheets. Period newspaper ads listed the Corvette lineup, but did not highlight the L88 as a headline feature. Sales literature even warned buyers that this engine package was not recommended for street use. The real output, according to later dynamometer testing and internal documentation discussed in collector circles and auction catalogs, was widely believed to exceed 500 horsepower. Chevrolet intentionally underrated it. Visually, the difference began under the hood. Lift it in archival footage and you see aluminum cylinder heads instead of cast iron. A massive Holley, 850 cubic feet per minute carburetor sits on top of a 427 cubic inch big block V8. Compression ratio, 12.5 to 1. That meant the engine required high-octane racing fuel. Not regular pump gas, not even premium in many towns, racing fuel. The L88 package forced other upgrades: heavy-duty suspension, special shocks, upgraded cooling, a transistorized ignition system. Buyers could not order a radio. They could not order a heater. Open a period window sticker and you will see the delete codes. This was a street-legal race engine disguised in a production sports car. Only 116 L88 Corvettes were built for the 1969 model year. That number is confirmed in factory production records and referenced repeatedly in auction house research notes from companies like Mecum and Barrett-Jackson. For comparison, total Corvette production in 1969 exceeded 38,000 units. The L88 represented a fraction of 1% of output. Why build it at all? I will tell you why. Because at the time, General Motors had an official corporate ban on racing participation. Yet Corvette engineers continued developing high-performance hardware. The L88 allowed private teams to purchase near-competition-ready machinery directly from dealerships. Footage from endurance races like the 24 Hours of Daytona and Sebring shows C3 Corvettes thundering down straights, their big block engines screaming at full throttle. The L88 existed so those cars could compete. But this created risk. The engine idled rough. It ran hot in traffic. The clutch was heavy. Fuel consumption was extreme. Contemporary road tests described it as barely civilized. Insurance rates for high-horsepower cars were rising sharply by the late 1960s. The muscle car era was entering its most scrutinized phase. Selling a 500-horsepower street car to inexperienced buyers was a liability. So Chevrolet did something unusual. They discouraged sales. Dealers often advised customers to consider tamer 7 options. The official 430 horsepower rating made the engine seem less extreme than competitors on paper. That detuned figure was strategic. It kept insurance classifications lower and avoided drawing regulatory attention. The result was simple. Only serious buyers checked the L88 box. Those buyers were racers, collectors, or individuals who understood what they were ordering. Many of the 116 cars were taken straight from dealership lots to race preparation shops. Archival race photos show L88 Corvettes with numbers taped on doors, fiberglass bodies modified, engines pushed hard. Some were wrecked, some blew engines, some were stripped for parts. And that is where the seed of today's value was planted. Limited production, hard use, mechanical brutality, corporate understatement. What happened next was not immediate fame, it was attrition. Because the L88 was built for racing, many of the 116 cars never lived easy lives. Period race programs from Daytona and Sebring list Corvette entries powered by the L88 specification. Track photos show cars with taped headlights, numbers on the doors, and brake dust coating the wheels. Engines were pushed hard for hours at a time. Some were rebuilt repeatedly. Some were replaced entirely. Others were crashed and written off. That matters today. Collectors do not just want an L88. They want a numbers-matching L88. That means the original 427 block, original aluminum heads, original documentation. Auction catalogs from Mecum and Barrett-Jackson often dedicate full pages to provenance, original tank stickers, build sheets, early registration paperwork, and even old newspaper classifieds showing the car decades ago. Each piece of paper adds confidence. Each missing component reduces value. And this is where the market explodes. In recent years, documented 1969 L88 Corvettes have crossed the auction block for well over $3 million. Hammer footage shows bidders raising paddles in calm, steady increments, cameras zooming in on the car's engine bay while auctioneers repeat the numbers. The final gavel falls, and the crowd reacts quietly, almost respectfully. Compare that to the current median American home price, which typically sits under $500,000. This single Corvette can equal 6 or 7 average houses. Why? Scarcity alone is not enough. There were other limited muscle cars. The difference is how few untouched L88s survived. Because they were raced, modified, or blown up, original examples became incredibly rare. In some cases, original aluminum cylinder heads are worth tens of thousands of dollars by themselves. A complete, documented car becomes a time capsule from the peak of American racing ambition. There is also the honesty factor. Sales literature from 1969 did not glorify the L88. In fact, Chevrolet included warnings about street drivability. Road tests from the era noted its aggressive camshaft and poor manners in traffic. This was not a polished luxury sports car. It was loud, hot, and demanding. Buyers had to insist on it. Dealers sometimes tried to steer customers toward more comfortable 427 variants like the L71. That resistance filtered out casual owners. That filtering effect created purity. The detail that collectors repeat today is simple. Chevrolet built a race engine, put a conservative horsepower rating on it, and let only the most committed customers take it home. No heater, no radio, no compromises. In a market full of advertised performance numbers, the L88 hid its real output behind 430 official horsepower. Independent dyno research and later engine analysis consistently show that figure was dramatically understated. Two facts people often get wrong need correction. First, not every 1969 427 Corvette is worth millions. Only the L88 specification commands that level, and even then, condition and documentation determine everything. A base 427 car may be valuable, but it is not real estate money. Second, Chevrolet did not accidentally underrate the engine. It was intentional. Lower published numbers reduced insurance classification pressure and kept the car from attracting unwanted regulatory attention during a time when performance cars were under scrutiny. This calculated understatement is part of the appeal. It feels calculated and rebellious without being loud about it. Look at modern supercars. They launch with press events, global marketing campaigns, and precise horsepower claims measured to the decimal. The 1969 L88 Corvette emerged quietly, a line item on an order sheet, a checkbox few people understood. Period newspaper ads rarely mentioned it directly. Yet today, auction houses treat it like automotive royalty. And that is how a car once sold for under $8,000 becomes worth more than a house. Not because it was heavily promoted, not because it was comfortable, but because it was uncompromising, misunderstood, and rare from the start. If you remember a time when horsepower meant risk, and racing hardware could still slip through a dealership order form, share that memory in the comments. And if stories like this bring back that era for you, like the video and subscribe. There are more hidden legends waiting to be uncovered.